Hello, and welcome to Can a Robot Write My Marketing? Incorporating AI into your content creation process. I am Darci Ellenberger, the Candy Fuel copywriter behind Sweet Tooth Creative, copy and brand strategy studio. A little bit about me. I am a disabled business owner and a parent, so I'm actually going to start this little presentation off with the caveat that my child is homesick from school today. So if we get interrupted, my apologies, but that's life. And basically, I'm just trying to survive under capitalism like everybody else. And that's why one of the things I talk about a lot in my business is this universal truth. Writing is the everlasting gobstopper of marketing tasks. There's just always more. There's just always more. So if you feel like you do not, like it never ends, you're not alone. I find it very important to talk about things that feel overwhelming. As business owners, as parents, as people with disabilities, or whatever other, things feel heavy in our life. I like to make sure that we say those things out loud, and recognize that it's not just us and it's not a failure on our part. These things are actually hard or overwhelming, but they don't always have to be. Now, I'm someone who writes a lot, like a lot. I don't really like to track productivity, but I do appreciate Grammarly's emails, which like update you on like, oh, you added a new tone this week or whatever. And so I saved this screenshot from last summer when I was kicking myself on a Friday for feeling like I hadn't gotten enough done that week. And then they sent me this, which they were like, you wrote more than 98% of Grammarly users. Like you broke a new productivity record for yourself. And I was like, I really felt like I didn't do anything that week, but I did when I went back through and checked it. So my point being, even if you're someone who doesn't want to spend 90% of their time writing like I do, you still have to do it for your marketing. And that's why I love sharing shortcuts with my audience. I love any time I can share with a client or on social media something that helps me get done faster, get to the good part, basically. I'm going to share it with you. And so that's really what I'm talking about today when it comes to AI writing tools. You've likely seen ads for AI or even tried some of the software. I'm sure you've seen people having heated internet discussions about this. And, a lot of people think because I'm a copywriter, I must hate them. And it's actually the complete opposite. I'm not worried. They're not going to take my job. But what they are going to do is help me do my job faster. And so I'm all about them. But to get to the point of the question in the title that you're like, no, but seriously, can this just take over for me? I want it to do it so I don't have to. The short answer is no. That's not how it works, unfortunately. However, they can make it so that you have to do less of it. You spend less of your time writing it, and that's the beauty of them. So think of it this way. AI is the car, but you're the driver. You're going to get to that end point that you want to get to a hell of a lot faster with its help, but it's not self-driving. You cannot just set it and forget it. I never recommend, putting out something that is completely AI written. It needs you to be in control, giving it directions, and then making sure that it gets to the right destination. So, so womp womp, not a magic wand that takes writing off your plate completely, but like I said, can, really help you get it done faster and better. Because a lot of the reason that people struggle with writing or getting their writing done for their business is because they don't feel confident in it. It's not their zone of genius. They got into this to help people advance in their careers like Joa, or design awesome websites like Marisa can, or whatever it is that they're offering their clients or customers. That's what they want to be doing. They don't want to be writing, probably. Unless, hey, copywriters, content writers, this could help you too. So but where AI comes in and really can make that possible is the places that it's almost where you're not writing, but it's part of the writing process. So when you're brainstorming, when you are stuck and you're just like, I don't even know how to talk about this, the AI, go to AI, have them talk about it. It'll give you examples of different ways you can look at it. And then that gets your gears going, can get you unstuck. And it also can be really helpful. Sometimes you're just getting in your own way, tripping over your words. You know what you want to say, but it's just coming out a little messy. And AI can be really great for that if you just take that messy sentence, put it in, and let it rewrite it, it'll clean it up for you. And even if you don't use exactly what it says, you can kind of pinpoint what words you didn't need in there and skip to making a better version. So everyone's writing process looks different, but since this is what I do for a living, I'll show you the basic gist of mine, which is pretty standard. It starts with researching, understanding my topic, gathering all the information I need, and then I know we all loved skipping this in school, even though the teachers insisted on it. And I will tell you all the things from school that you do not need to pay attention to now, like that it's outdated or just doesn't apply in this context. Outlining is not one of them. Outlines are your friend. Do them, embrace them. They get easier the more you do them. And they're very helpful. So, and then drafting, which is the longest, messiest, sometimes most hopeless feeling part, is when you gotta put it down ugly. And then revising, you can make it prettier. Proofreading is the very last thing, because there's no sense looking for spelling errors if you might chop that sentence anyway. So say proofreading for last. And often it's better to have some guy in this process. That's the slow part. Like I said, it's the messy and the ugly, and it's where often you're looking at a blank page and you're just like, no, nothing is coming. You're just staring at a blinking cursor. This is terrible. Well, AI in 2 seconds will fill up that page for you, and the blank page is a thing of the past. So that's really where I like to use it. And would highly recommend, like, in your own process, whatever it is, compare it to mine, see where the overlap is. But it's that messy early part that you want to bring AI tools into it to help get the ball rolling. So, okay, so I talked about this already, but yeah, most of the time going from a blank page to the rough draft is the hardest part. Now I'm going to go over the 4 things I would most want you to remember when using AI copywriting tools, because there's a lot of assumptions about these tools, what they can do, and often what they can't do gets overlooked. And not that it's not everything's about its shortcomings, but we need to be aware of them. So we need to understand its strengths, its weaknesses, and what you need to do to get the best result. And so I'm going to go over 4 things. First thing is feed it well. Second is understand its limits, those pros and cons I was talking about. 3 is add your own flavor, which is another thing you'll hear me talk about a lot, because if you don't have your own flavor, you're going to blend right in. It's all about your brand flavor in your copy is how you find your ideal audience, and it's how you stick in their brains and how you basically make them like need to work with you, or buy your product or whatever. And then watching for the forks, which I will explain later. So number 1, feed it well. Feed it well, quality in, quality out. Like, that's a very common phrase you'll hear from writers around AI is, you got to put good stuff in it to get it out. If you're someone who is like, I don't even know where to start, you can always go back to that, what is it? Second, third, fourth grade, like writing lesson of the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, fall back on those and see what it gives you. And then from there, you can tweak it. So, but don't be afraid to experiment. The beauty of AI is that it can turn these things out so quickly that, where I could sit here fiddling with a paragraph for hours, it's going to be like, oh, you didn't like that one? No problem. Here's a new one. How's this? And use that to your advantage. So keep putting in different things, tweak it. The more you practice feeding it, the better you'll get at it. So number 2, understand its limits, and not to hurt the robot's feelings, but it's a robot. It can't reason and it can't understand emotion. So you need to be the backup brain. Like, don't let things get missed that someone's like, oh yeah, okay, well, obviously this wasn't written by a person. So you got to make sure that there's at least one brain involved in the process. Also, it doesn't fact check. It will tell you with complete confidence that X number of people had Y disease in this year. It's pulling that out of its like, it's not you anytime you see a fact, a specific number, a year, a date, something that you got to get to Googling and make sure that that's correct, because it's totally bullshitted. Not on purpose. I mean, not deliberately. It's not trying to fool you. It just doesn't know any better. So it's essentially a very well-read parrot. Like, it's mimicking. So you just have to keep that in mind and understand that mimicking and understanding, sorry, hands hit the keyboard by accident. Mimicking and understanding are not the same thing. So it's doing its best imitation of us, of our writing, and it's very convincing a lot of the time. But you need to stay in that driver's seat and make sure that it's not taking wrong turns or missing important signals. So number 3, my favorite one, add your own flavor. The first step in doing that is actually to make sure you are differentiating in your draft what is 100% AI generated. I do this by just making sure that if I copy and paste from an AI tool, it's always in italics. You could highlight it, you could put it in a different font, whatever works for you, tells your brain that, hey, this is not mine. And so I need to be aware of that so I don't put it out there like it is mine. Mix in a heaping cup of your brand voice. Like I said, that's that flavor that makes an average reader, someone who's not your ideal client, is going to read it and be like, Nah. But someone who is your ideal client, when they get that flavor in your voice, that personality, and attitude, they go, "Ooh, I like this person," like, or "I like this brand. Ooh, I want to see more of this. Ooh, I want to come back to this. Ooh, it's gonna stick in my brain." So you can do that by adding in phrases you use a lot. You can do it simply by rewording your whatever the robot has written for you, in your own natural voice. Or if you are not a personal brand, if you have a brand guideline, to go back to, combine the two. Bring your brand guide over to wherever you're working with your AI tool, and blend the two, so that it comes through and it feels like your brand. So, and just remember that it always needs your stamp of approval. The final product should be something you can confidently say was your own creation, because while there may be times when it's okay to get away with, letting a robot write it 100%, that's not, more often than not, you want to be able to say, no, we wrote this. So even it's like shake and bake, the robot can help. Like, robot's not in charge. So make sure that you never hit publish without having your own eyes on it, getting your hands in there, mixing it up, and making it your own. I have two of the same slide, apparently. Try now. And number 4, watch the forks. And not those forks, not the ones you eat. By forks, I mean any decision points in your copy or content. So this would be things like anywhere where your reader has to decide, do I go on? Do I take an action? So like hooks, headings, CTAs, anywhere where they're like, should I keep reading? So that would be the case with headings, or with the hook initially. You want to make sure that if you use AI to write it, you're paying extra attention to that. That gets a little bit more of your time and a little bit more of your energy to make sure that it's as good as it can be. Because those are the high performance areas of your copy, and you don't want to neglect them. So anywhere where your reader has the choice of being like, more please, or that's enough, I'm good, make sure you're focusing, sprinkling it with some extra sugar or spice or whatever it is that your particular brand recipe requires. So to recap, feed it well, understand its limits, add your own flavor, watch out for those forks, and just keep experimenting. I mean, AI is new, and well, okay, AI isn't new. AI copywriting tools are relatively new. You notice I didn't recommend a specific one, because what works for one person, another person's going to like something else better. So try different ones. A lot of them have free trials, some of them are free altogether, but experiment with it, play with it, and find the way that works for you. Hopefully, this presentation gave you some good starting points if you felt overwhelmed by the idea of messing with AI on top of writing, which may already be an uncomfortable process. And hopefully this helps you write more, faster, better copy, and do more communicating with your audience, and delight them with your words. So thank you so much. If you want my help incorporating AI into your content creation process, if you want individualized advice, Catalyst members can come work with me during dedicated co-writing hours. You can check the events calendar. It's usually about twice a week, but some weeks get skipped. And non-Catalyst members, I mean, you could join the Catalyst, which I highly recommend. Or you can, if you're not quite ready to invest in the Catalyst, or I don't know, you just don't like fun? I don't know. You can get a smaller dose of fun in the Candy Club, which is my own private group co-writing club. It's $37 a month for twice monthly group meetings where I get in there, work with you on your copy, and we all just basically hang out and write better words for your business. So you can find more info about that at the website I've linked here, sweettoothcreative.com/candy-club. And thank you so much. Oh no, I lost my window.
I just had the funnest time watching Darci. I just realized she can't hear me. So hold on a sec. I gotta go in here and so that Darci knows that I'm talking on the other side. Darci's like, I don't know what's happening. Great presentation, Darci. There was so many. I was taking notes, but I was also laughing so hard at the last, like when you just said, if you don't like fun. I was like trying not to like be out loud, but I was out loud. Thank you so much. I think this is a really interesting, conversation, Darci. And a lot of opportunities there. I'm just actually gonna switch myself. I'm in two rooms. This is my technology kind of like coming in here. Let me just one sec. Where's my cam? Here we are. So Darci, like we were talking earlier on the panel about upcoming technology, and some of the challenges and the opportunities that are coming ahead. Have you heard about any where these tools are going? What kind of opportunities are out there? Like, how do you, have you heard anything? I guess can you give us a little bit of insight as a copywriter what you've heard?
I mean, I am I'm up on copywriting, less up on the tech stuff as far as like what's emerging, but I do think there's been a lot of discussion about how this stuff is going to be applied to this, and I've seen creative directors who have fired copywriters already. Like it's been a couple months.
Yeah,
They've already fired people
for using the AI. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, for some, not for using AI, but for submitting AI written content as their own. And that is a key distinction. But yeah, so I think it's going to continue to be something that we have to reevaluate and see. I think for me, I don't necessarily share, especially because I'm focused in written rather than visual art. I don't really share the plagiarism concerns that I had, or even in education, the teachers that are like, well, I'm not going to know if my kid knows how to write. Well, but if they can read it and proofread it and edit it, then maybe that's all they need to be able to do at this point. I mean, I want people to be able to write, but if it's really not their thing, let them spend their time doing other things. Like I am a very slow hand writer, and I can't tell you how many teachers or professors like would not let me use a keyboard in class to take notes, etc. And it hindered me. And I'm just like, why? Like, let me do the thing that helps me be better. Like I'm not in favor of gatekeeping tools that way. My biggest concern with AI, as far as like what's coming down the road, is that I don't want to put tools into the hands of like the bot farms and the misinformation.
Yeah.
I'm scared that this will make it easier and faster to create more misinformation.
Yeah. And
there's already so much. We're already losing that fight. So that's my concern with AI. But
absolutely. I think it'll be an interesting I'm putting on my predicting hat here.
I lost your audio, Marisa. Is that just me?
Maybe.
I see your lips moving.
Yeah. Sorry. I have somebody that's right outside my window, and I realized I turned off my mute. Sorry. What I was saying, I'm putting on my predicting hat, and one of the things I think we'll see more is training around how to really write well how to really write, and write for comprehension, write for accessibility, and how we can discern what good writing looks like. And I don't mean like,
Mhm.
I don't want to gatekeep writing, but it's just like, how can we actually improve our communication skills using what AI is giving us as the groundwork? And I loved how you brought out that slide where it really showed the I don't know if it was intentionally, but like the pipeline of writing, the little elbow pipes there going from the next step to the next step. It's really interesting because I have a hard time sometimes separating revising from proofreading. And I love what you said. Like, there's no point correcting a spelling mistake when you're going to take out that whole sentence, anyways. And I think AI, it's an interesting, it fills in so much, but then like half of the, it's repeating itself over and over again. So you have to go back and also do, the revising, the kind of like, it can get you started, but it's not going to necessarily give you the whole thing. And being able to know what fits your brand, what fits your brand voice, what fits your audience, the accessibility needs of your audience and how they need to hear it, it's going to be an interesting, I think, evolution of our communication skills.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like I'm not sure how many people probably could have been great writers, except they maybe struggled with that hard early part of drafting.
Oh, yeah.
And if we can get them over that hurdle, then they can do the rest of it. But they never get past that hurdle. And if we're
Mm,
not helping them get past it with everything we have, then who knows what type of skills we're missing out on. And I mean, yes, a lot of my job is generating things from scratch, but my key skills are my revision skills, my editing, the
right.
judging of the copy. That's where that's what differentiates me from someone who passed English all through school or maybe got A's in English all through school and someone who made a career out of writing is my ability to go, that's fine, that's clear, that makes sense. Now let's make it really good, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so I think even if that is not the part of my writing process that takes the longest, it is the part that uses the most skill. And if we can help people get through that longer, slow trudge of getting the words on the page, then they can develop that skill that is really valuable. So,
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to share with us today before we wrap up? This was really good.
no, no. I mean, I apparently talk a lot faster when I'm nervous, so it's we have lots of time if anyone has questions,
Yeah. Does
but
anyone have any questions in the audience? Let me check the questions on here. Karina says, thank you. Great presentation. I'll put that on the screen. Karina says, great presentation. Thank you. Thanks for watching, Karina. I mean, I think these are interesting conversations, great opportunities we have. I love what you said about developing more of an editing skill, because that's, I mean, having a great editor by your side is one of the best support tools a marketer or a content creator, a writer can have. It's really interesting because even we have writers in the Catalyst, and we talk about the value of having a really great editor and having that partnership. And I think this is going to be an interesting, because the AI so far doesn't edit, and I don't know if the AI is ever going to get to the point where it can edit for feeling, and it can kind of, we've seen where it says it's, write it to explain it to a child, write it to explain it to a professor. We've seen some of those things, but it has the limitations because, of course, each person is such an individual voice. And so being able to bring that out and working with a really great editor allows you to, really develop that voice, develop that communication.
yeah.
And I can speak firsthand for someone whose brand is not exactly kosher to some people. It's like AI has often told me, like, you can't say this. It is going to offend. It is not as professional as it could be. And I'm just like, you copywriters cannot be replaced. It,
Ooh, yes.
you're talking about like inject your flavor. I tried to, and there is that bias where it's ChatGPT is telling me you can't really do that and you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't asking for your opinion. I was asking you to write this so that
Yeah.
I could see.
Yep, and that's why I have you inject your flavor afterwards, because you
Exactly.
don't want it to get filtered out by the AI that you're using.
Just like, who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do?
Yeah, like,
Thank
how
you
rude. How
for your
Yeah,
unsolicited opinion and
yeah,
feedback.
it goes back to that rule of like, to be a great artist, like you have to learn the rules so that you know how to break them.
Mm.
And I think that that's something that, AI can't necessarily do. It doesn't know how and when to break the rules. And so, I feel like my job's pretty secure because I do. So, yeah, that's a really great point, Veronica.
Awesome. Any other questions or input from the audience? Awesome. Well, you can find Darci at sweettoothcreative.com. I have posted, if you are looking for your brand flavor, Darci has an incredible and just absolutely fun quiz on the site, at the top of the site. If you look at the hot pink bar, it does say take your brand flavor quiz. And I do recommend you go through it. Just, it's fun. It's a great way to kind of see what your combination is. And you know what? I mean, the thing is the reality is that these quiz softwares that we use has a bit of AI in it. We've taught it the logic, we've taught it, and so it's an interesting thing where we start to bring in more of these tools in here and how we use them for our business. It isn't all just ChatGPT and Midjourney. We're using these tools already and seeing it in action. So definitely go over on sweettoothcreative.com. Check out the candy bar. Darci, do you want to put up your can you put up your last slide again?
Yeah. Is it still sharing my screen or did that go out?
It's not. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Bear with me a moment.
Yeah, perfect. So do check out the Candy Club, the co-writing. If you caught my presentation this morning, and if you haven't, go check out the timeline either on YouTube or in the group that you're watching this in right now. I posted this morning a model called Done With You, and Darci actually uses the Done With You model both in the Catalyst for co-writing hours and also the Candy Club, which is a dedicated space that Darci has in Sweet Tooth Creative to do the co-writing, which means that you get to show up with what you're working on and not only work with Darci, but get the stuff done, right? So we get out of that watching the blinking cursor the curse of the blinking cursor is like a new Nancy Drew novel that I'm probably going to go make up after this in the meme in the old mematic generator. But like we get out of that, don't sit there and wait to put out really great content when you have the ability to come in and work with Darci. And Darci is, I mean, an incredible and valuable member, like outstanding. I can't chef's kiss in the community, and I think everybody in here has had a bit of content written by Darci and with Darci on their websites and in their funnels, and is just an essential. Like I cannot recommend Darci enough. So if you are looking for writing and editing help, do check out sweettoothcreative.com, especially sweettoothcreative.com/candy club. Do we have anything else I missed?
About Done With You, that pressure to fill the hour.
Yeah.
I do power hours. Like if you have more than enough to fill it, awesome. But if you don't, there is that like, well, but what if I don't use all the time? And it becomes about the time and not about the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that so much. And that's why I created Candy Club. And it's modeled off of your model in the accelerator. Oh my God, throwback there. The catalyst, excuse me.
Formerly known as the accelerator.
Yes, exactly. It's right in front of my face, but I don't know. My brain was just like, let's pick the dusty one. But yeah, but that's why I started Candy Club is like, there's a million places people can get stuck in their writing.
Yeah.
And if you have to book an hour to get unstuck, like that's pointless. Come in for 5 minutes, get help, get unstuck, go off to do your thing, get stuck again, come back in. Like it's so much easier and just for me, it feels much more accessible and much more productive in the long term, and just amazing for mental health and, keeping up the pace in your business, and not getting bogged down with things that aren't your area of specialty. So I think we need this for every type of service provider for entrepreneurial support. It's just like I want to have a catalyst room for each, that I can be like, oh, I'm stuck on an operations thing, and go in and get help from Veronica. Like, it's it's a great model, and there's a lot of benefits to it, but I definitely think the a big one is that it takes off that pressure of, well, I don't need an hour's worth of help. I need help with this one tiny thing that shouldn't be a roadblock for me, but is, and that's normal, totally normal. So now we can fix it.
And there's also the body doubling benefit. So even if you're not stuck, but you just want to come in and keep focused, the act of sitting in the room with Darci by your side in the virtual world, and being able to kind of know that someone else is also working at the same time, and it's incredible for kicking your brain into productivity and focus mode that you might have not had otherwise. So the body doubling is phenomenal for me.
Yeah, well, and the learning by osmosis too, almost, because like, just by being in the room, you may not have. I can't tell you how many times it's like, we're talking about something in the catalyst, that an issue that someone else is having, and I'm like, I haven't run into that in my business, but you know what? 2 weeks later, I sure did. But I already know what the fix is, because I saw it addressed with another member. And even if I can't replicate it exactly, I at least have a starting point. I'm not like hitting a wall and losing all momentum. So yeah, it's just done together forever, please. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So any other, Darci, do you have anything else you need to leave us with? Are we good? Are we complete?
No, I mean, I appreciate you mentioning the quiz. If you are kind of like, add your flavor, like, what? I don't get it. The quiz is a really excellent place to start. If you're not someone who notices those things, is a writer like me, totally fine. Go take the quiz. It'll be like, oh, this is kind of what you lean towards. This is what naturally comes out. And then once you know it and can recognize it, then you can pump it up. And I have ways to help you do that. So definitely go check out sweettoothcreative.com. The quiz is right at the top on the banner, like Marisa said. Or if you're like, oh no, I need you to help me directly, check out Candy Club. So
perfect. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to end the live stream. If you've been watching this live, shoot us off a comment. At least let us know that you were out there in the world. If you're watching this on the replay, post it too. We'll come back in and we'll make sure, if you do have any questions, we'll follow up. Next up, we are going into, in 17 minutes, we are starting another panel. It might be a little spicy. It might be a little controversial. We are talking about, can AI make or break your business? We definitely have some AI themes coming in through today because it is top of mind. It's topical. I think we're going to be talking about this throughout the year. So do check us out wherever you're watching it right now. We will be live again in about 17 minutes on the hour. We will be here with an incredible panel of business leaders and thought provokers, thought leaders. I like thought provokers now. Who wants to be a thought leader when you can be a thought provoker? It is the idea of co-creation and collaboration. Over here, you're watching Create the Rules Catalyst Connect. This is going to be a monthly series that we are doing, and from now on, that we will be charging $49 because you're bum in the seat. But here's the thing. Not only will you get access to our experts as they're presenting and delivering these workshops so that you can get some integration and implementation right in your business while we're doing this, but we will be putting together a coffee table PDF, a coffee table book PDF that basically captures all of the learnings that we have each day and in our series, and the insights from our experts, and of course other business owners who are implementing the strategies that we're talking. So in March 8th, we have recurring revenue coming up, putting in the incredible opportunities to create ongoing income in your business. Darci, thank you so much. Thank you for being an incredible part of this community. We could not do it without you. You're an essential worker. You're an essential person, but you're just a really great, you're just a really great person. It's just really great. Darcy's going to be like, oh my God, Marisa, what were you on? I'm on top of the world thanks to the people I have who are contributing into the Catalyst. We'll see you guys in about 10, 15 minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.